Chelsea a club on the rise, but also on the edge. We just lost to Sunderland. Wolves are waiting in the Carabao Cup, and today we'll break down that clash, as well as the Andrey Santos transfer saga, whispers of Maignan and Ter Stegen, and the latest on our stadium. But before I unpack everything in this video, if you are new here, welcome to the channel. But if you have been following me for a while, you know the drills. Help your boy get to that 10k subscriber mark. Let's run it up. Chelsea, we had momentum, and we are finally building the video. The football was finally flowing. Confidence was back, and then we crashed 2-1 to Sunderland at the Stamford Bridge. A game that could have taken us fourth. Now we are sitting 9th with 14 points after match week 9. We let Manchester United and Aston Villa climb above us. And Arsenal, bro, they are running with it. 22 points from 9 games, just 9 goals conceded. They are looking like a machine. And the question is this the season Arsenal finally do it? But before we get to them, let's be real. That Sunderland lose wasn't just unlucky. It exposed some deep issues we have been hiding behind good results. After the game, Enzo Maresca himself didn't hide the situation. He said, "I think Joao is not training every day because he's managing an injury problem. Mo is the same, Enzo is the same. We have 4 or 5 players that have some problem and cannot work every day. They try to make the effort and play the game. Joao struggled a bit today, but all the players did today. So it's not Joao." That tells you everything. We have got half of the squad managing knocks, players running on fumes, and you can see it on the pitch. The intensity that defines Maresca's system is fading. Joao Pedro looked off, even Caicedo not his usual dominant self. And when your structure depends on Cripps movements, energy and control, one weak link collapses the rhythm. And that's what happened against Sunderland. We started strong, scored early, dominated, and then flat, passive, and we let them grow into the game. Mark Cucurella summed it up perfectly. He said, "It's really a tough one to take. We all are very disappointed, of course. We need to improve with these matches. I think we need to learn to manage the game better. We scored early, dominated at that stage, but then we let the opponents back into it. And I think we need to learn how to kill off games when we're on top." He's spot on. It's not our tactics anymore. It's our mentality. We dominated the ball, but we didn't dominate the game. We created momentum, but we never finished teams off. And you can see it. After 1-0, we dropped intensity, started overplaying at the back, lose verticality, and then get punished. And that's where Maresca needs to adapt. The control obsession is great when it works, but when the team is physically struggling, sometimes you need pragmatism. We were 1 goal up at home. Instead of pressing for second, we slowed everything down. And that's where Sunderland thrived. They regrouped, waited for transition, and exposed our defensive line. We have got one of the youngest squad in the league, but experience comes from pain. Games like this hurt, but they have to teach us. Because if we can't manage game when we're on the top, we are not ready for top 4. Simple as that. Look, this loss doesn't ease the process we have made. Before Sunderland, we were flying. We smashed Ajax 5-1, beating Liverpool, and finally seeing some consistency. But progress isn't linear, and that's what fans need to understand. The style Maresca is implementing takes time. The player fitness situation right now is rough. But here is the reality check. Arsenal are not waiting for anyone. They are 22 points and only conceded 3 goals. They are cleaning off team with ruthless efficiency. While we are trying to manage game, they're already mastering it. That's the gap. Mentality, maturity, execution. So yeah, we can talk about potential we want. But until we start showing that killer edge, Arsenal will always be ahead of us in title conversations. This defeat should burn, because it's not just losing. It's about how we lost. We had the game under control and we gave it away. If we are serious about climbing the table, we have got to respond now. Now over to you, my friends. Let me know what you think. Was this a blip, or this crack in Maresca's system starting to show? And more importantly, do you think Arsenal can finally do it this season? Now we move on, because after that disappointing defeat to Sunderland, there's no time to sulk. Because Chelsea, we are back in action, traveling to Monolux for a Carabao Cup 4th tier round against Wolves. Now let's be real, this game is bigger than it looks. Not just because we are chasing silverware, but because we need to restore confidence. Momentum matters in football, and right now we have got to prove that Sunderland loss is just a blip, not a pattern. Wolves, on the other hand, are in absolute chaos right now. Only 2 points from 9 Premier League games, winless all season, and the fans at Monolux are starting to lose patience. For them, this cup is everything. A small chance to salvage a season that is going downhill fast. So don't think for a second that this will be easy. That crowd will be loud, emotional, and desperate. the kind of environment that can rattle you if you are not switched on. Now let's look at the recent record between us. In the last 5 minutes, they have won 2 and we have only won 3. On paper, that's even. But here is where context matters. Because when we are on it, we absolutely punish them. Remember that 6-2 demolition away in August 2024? That was peak Maresca ball. Structure, ruthless, vertical. Even earlier this year, a 3-1 win at Stamford Bridge in January. Comfortable win. Those are both under Enzo Maresca. And it tells you something important. The tide is turning in our favor again. Before that, Wolves had our number. They beat us 3 times straight in 2023 and earlier 2024. That run exposed our old flaws. Disjointed defending, lazy transition, no control. But since Maresca came in, we have started fixing those issues. That's what's different now. But still, this is not the kind of fixture you treat as a free win. That's trash thinking. Wolves are the kind of side that tries when teams underestimate them. You switch off, you get punished. Simple as that. For us, this cup is where we have actually thrived under Enzo Maresca. He already shown he knows how to navigate through tournaments. Conference League winner, Club World Cup winner. You understand knockout football, discipline, control, timing. It's a 38-game league grind where we have been inconsistent, but in tournaments we have been dangerous. So this Carabao Cup is another chance to prove we are learning. And this project can win while developing. Because at the end of the day, Chelsea Football Club is all about trophies, not excuses. Now while we are locked in the Carabao Cup, trying to bounce back, there have been some interesting noise off the pitch and involves one of our own. Reports are saying Manchester United are open to signing 2 new midfielders in 2026. And guess who is on their list? Andrey Santos. According to TalkSport, United list includes Carlos Baleba, Elliot Henderson, Adam Walton, Angelino Stella, Conor Gallagher, and of course our very own Andrey Santos. And it's not just Manchester United. Tutu Jevu are also claiming that Juventus are watching closely too. Now look, this is not the first time Andrey Santos is being linked away. After a strong season at Strasbourg, he has been a constant topic. People are finally starting to see what Chelsea fans has been saying since he arrived. The kid is a complete midfielder, composed, aggressive, intelligent. And you can see why top clubs are sniffing around. But here is the key part. Chelsea's stance hasn't changed. Andrey Santos is not for sale. And honestly, that's how it should be. This is one of the few young players who actually fits what Maresca wants. Press resistance, good positionally IQ, can play as a 6 or an 8, and isn't afraid to dictate tempo. It's the kind of profile we have lacked for years. If anything, he should be part of our next phase, not someone who cash out on. So why the links to Manchester United and Juventus are making headline? Let's be real. If Chelsea have any sense of long-term planning, they should keep him. And while we are talking about Chelsea's squad and players being linked away, let's flip it, because the club themselves are now being linked with a few names again. According to journalist Sachota Velari, at Chelsea the management continue to look for an experienced goalkeeper to strengthen competition. The Blues are studying 2 major tracks, a loan from Andrew Ter Stegen, lacking playing time at FC Barcelona. But do not forget that Maignan track for next summer. The Frenchman of AC Milan, at the end of his contract, would represent a very high-level free opportunity. In both cases, the London hierarchy sees this profile as a notable improvement compared to Robert Sanchez. Now this is interesting and honestly a bit confusing, because this is not the first time Maignan is being linked to Chelsea. His contract is up next summer, and of course, it makes sense that the club would keep that. A world-class goalkeeper available for free is always tempting. But Ter Stegen on loan, I can't lie, I don't see it. That sounds more like a headline noise than a serious target. Barca aren't exactly in a position to loan out their captain and one of their highest earners. What makes this report even more conflicting is about what we heard a month ago. The word from inside the club then was that Chelsea are not planning to sign another goalkeeper. Robert Sanchez was set to be finding his form again, and Philip Jorgensen was already competing for #1 spot. Plus, Mike Penders is doing well at Strasbourg. He's gaining experience, developing exactly how we hoped. So yeah, I'm taking this report with a pinch of salt. Chelsea could explore a minor deal next summer if he's available for free. Sure, but the Ter Stegen loan idea feels like pure speculation. And while all this transfer noise and squad reshuffling dominates the headline, there is another place where nothing is absolutely happening. The stadium. Because according to Nizar Kansala, there is no major update on the stadium. And I will explain this. It seems for all intents and purposes like Chelsea has been waiting to see if an opportunity emerged to take a 44-acre land just north of Stamford Bridge. That line there summed up Chelsea's biggest off-the-pitch problem. We are waiting, not acting. The Bowley and Clear Lake knows this. Stamford Bridge, just over 40,000 seats, is holding us back. We operate like a top club with mid-table capacity. We are 9th in Premier League stadium for size, and our match day revenue is literally half, sometimes even third of what Arsenal and Spurs generate every single week. Redeveloping Stamford Bridge is literally a nightmare. The site is boxed by housing, and the Chelsea pitch owners hold the freehold. So right now, the cold truth. Chelsea's biggest weakness is not just our inconsistency on the pitch, it's our infrastructure of it. We are trying to run an elite operation on a 20th century foundation. Say what you want about Arsenal, they saw the bigger picture earlier. When they built the Emirates Stadium in 2006, it wasn't about nostalgia or noise, it was about money. 60,000 capacity, over 3.1 million per home game, and now they are planning an expansion to 80,000. That's forward planning. That's how you build muscle to buy, extend, and reinvest without dancing around FFP. Even when they weren't winning trophies, the Emirates kept Arsenal powerful. It gives them financial spine that we right now don't have. And look at Spurs. Their new stadium is pure 21st century business thinking, 62,850 seats, retractable pitch, NFL game, concert, corporate boxes. They have turned their ground into an economic engine, pulling in 5 million per home match when you add up all the streams. Say what you want about Tottenham, they have shown vision, modern infrastructure, modern money. And here is the brutal truth. Even if we win under Enzo Maresca, Stamford Bridge caps our ceiling. We simply can't compete long term with clubs pulling in over £100 million per year from home games alone. The Stamford Bridge is iconic, but you can't scale history. You either evolve or you get left behind. Until Chelsea either move or rebuild, we'll keep relying on sponsorship, player trading, and clever FFP gymnastics to stay competitive. That's not sustainable if you want to dominate Europe again. Because in the new football economy, it's simple. Capacity, cash, competitiveness. And we are losing in all front three. If we actually want to act like a proper elite club again, there are two moves on the table. Acquire the 44 acres north-south of Stamford Bridge and build a modern 60 to 70k stadium fits our ambition. Or revamp Stamford Bridge fully, even if it means temporarily relocating. And until we fix this, Chelsea growth will always have a ceiling, no matter how good Enzo Maresca is. And with that said, that's the end of the video, my friends. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. You go be.